Hi everyone, it is Monday and it is a beautiful day for networking and golf and sometimes you got to pinch hit. So I am here because Samara keeps it real estate. Ask Samara Anything segment that we've been running for a couple weeks strong now. You guys have filled my inbox with tons of questions. My DMs still get questions. I love how you guys give feedback on the answers to the questions that you guys get. So thank you guys for locking in, for showing up, and for being present. And for that reason, I will do the same. So I'm here. For those of you who saw some of my stories today, I sit on the board for the Jackson Chamber of Commerce, and we had an amazing golf event today. So I got this golf course behind me. Great energy, fantastic people, all the things that make you really enjoy just networking and being out there. But I didn't want to miss the opportunity to drop some nuggets in our 15-minute segment to give all the real estate knowledge you can possibly get. So answer these questions that have been coming in hot and heavy. Hello there. Hi. So thanks for jumping on. Thanks for locking in. And we have a really good lineup today for the questions that we pulled out. And if you're online and you're live, you usually get first precedence. So don't be afraid to drop stuff inside there. Well, the questions we have, let's get it started. Right now, I have a buyer, and his question is, what are some key things that I can do to get my offer accepted? Now, that is a really good question. I really hope that you are partnered with an agent that you can communicate with effectively, right? That's key, because you want to be able to ask, how are you presenting me when you're putting my offers across, right? So as a buyer, you want to be able to have a strong offer, and you want to look good on paper. There's a couple different moving parts that take place when your agents are talking and presenting your offer. Some people still believe in love letters, where the buyer might say 101 reasons why they should be the ones to get your house when we're dealing with multiple offer situations. But unfortunately, in some scenarios, agents won't show it to their sellers, because of the fact that there might be some discrepancies and they could be held liable for things at the end, right? So sometimes I hold off on showing those love letters, because if anything in there that says I have a family and you pick me because I have a family, that's technically considered discrimination, and it's against housing laws and rules and regulations. So you got to tread really lightly in terms of the love letters, we call them. More times than not, you want to be able to present with being strong financials. You want to be able to present with a strong offer. Don't come in lowballing thinking that if there's 20 offers on the table, you're just going to get picked. Terms are going to be really important. Flexibility in terms of when they can close. So if you're currently renting, you look pretty good, because you can close at their schedule if they need more time, or close a little faster, as long as you're able to get out of your current lease, if that's a thing. And you want to be able to put your best foot forward. So make sure that you have been fully vetted by your mortgage lender. So if you have a lender you're working with, have them get you your pre-approval, which means your docs have been verified. You can even go as far as the extra step where you have everything done, all the taxes, all the information. There's some music going on. People love love playing golf and rocking out, but you guys can still hear me, so it's always good. We got some vibe. There's a little theme music today. So my buyers, I hope that you are definitely not afraid to ask questions, people that you're actually working with. I love that you're asking me questions, but if you're working with somebody, you should feel really comfortable asking them questions regarding how they're presenting you and what you can do to put in a strong offer. And usually they'll guide you and point you in the right direction. So that is for my buyers. I hope that answered your question. Oh, thumbs up. Okay, I love that. that got you off on the right foot. But even if you have follow-ups to that, please don't hesitate to reach out, because I have a five-page steps. I also have been posting some reels that kind of indicate things that you can do to help your offer get accepted and noticed. Okay, so check those out. If you don't see them, or if you need them personally delivered to you guys, DM me. I got you. All right, so my buyers who are trying to get those things accomplished, we got you. Now, my sellers, right? What do we have on my seller docket? Ooh. Okay, so for my sellers, I got a question regarding, my house didn't appraise, what should I do? And this is very similar. I feel like, I'm always answering a couple of different million questions and variations of questions, but this one is specific to not appraising from a seller's perspective, right? I think we've answered it on both sides, high level. But if you're a seller and you get that information back and you've already been down the due diligence phase, they've done inspections, they've done a couple other things, because there's a lot of things that happen after you get your offer accepted that don't just qualify as you're done, right? So you're in your due diligence period. From the moment that you guys get out of attorney review, you're doing inspections, they're running title, we're running appraisals, we're doing all these moving parts behind the scenes, right? So that's a small component. So it really does depend also how far you are along the path in terms of like how motivated you are to have a conversation. Right, pretty much all your stuff is done and you're hanging on and your appraisal comes back and it's not in the contract that they're going to waive appraisal. Now, don't get me wrong. If someone waives appraisal, it doesn't mean that they're not going to get an appraisal. It just means that they won't be the reason why they cancel your contract. Okay, so let's be very clear because people are very good about being very crafty when it comes to wording our contracts to make sure that our bases are covered. And between you, me, and the four walls, hi, thanks for jumping on. That there's many reasons to have a contract canceled, whether it be an inspection or whether you can't get a mortgage or if the house doesn't appraise. Sometimes that's the case because you have a mortgage contingency you have to meet. So keep those things in mind. But from a seller's perspective, you know, rewinding a little bit, and it's always so much information I can give you guys because you can't answer all this stuff in like a short window, but I'm going to give you as much nuggets as I can. And then there's always opportunities to reach out to me. I have like a whole seller's guide. So guys, DM me for that if you need it as well, because you got that. So my sellers, you get that information and they come back and say your house didn't appraise. You have a couple different options that you're looking at. If it's not in the contract for them to still be okay with it and pay the difference, then you're going to have to think about, is the gap so big that you're willing to drop your price as a seller? It's like, okay, well, I didn't think I'd get this much anyway. They're way over asking. I'm willing to do X, Y, Z. Then you're willing to bring your price down. That's an option that you have. Hey, thanks for jumping on. Hi, guys. We're just catching up. I'm on sellers' questions regarding the house not appraising. Now, part two of that is if they're amicable, you can actually tell them like, look, this is a big gap. You went above asking because you really wanted the house. Like, I'll meet you halfway and drop the price a little bit. That's an option as well. And you can also say, I'm not doing anything, which you have that right, but they could also walk away because you just open the door for them to be able to walk away. So a couple different options that you have, when you're a seller and you don't get the appraisal that you're looking for. All right. But again, you want to look at the full picture. Don't just budge off emotion. Don't just, be like, well, they gave me this, I'm supposed to get this. Just see the bigger picture, right? Like, what's your mortgage? How bad do you want to sell your house? Is it a must sell? Is it a have to sell? I'm okay as long as I get the right number to sell? And keep those things in factor when you're rationalizing whether you want to negotiate it, right? But also keep in mind, before you even get to that part, you have a small option to say you want a reconsideration of value and have another appraiser come in and kind of appraise it in case you think you missed something. Like if you think his appraisal is just way off, you can have someone come in and change that. So keep those things in mind. I like you guys just jumping on, but you guys see the settings a little bit different today. Pivoting because sometimes you gotta pivot, and even in real estate, right? So I had to work today and then also had a function. So for those of you jumping on, you get the beautiful greenery in the background of a golf course. We're over at Gambler Ridge. So thank you, Jack's Chamber of Commerce, for the beautiful day. We got lucky because there was no rain, but again, the world is beautiful like that. So what do we got next? I love it. We have our... Oh, okay. An investor question. Okay. All right. You're not ready for that one. All right. We're going to go to this one. The question is, what is considered a deal now? And it's a tough question because all my investors have different strategies. And I want to be really clear that one person's strategy is not the same for everybody, right? Your bandwidth in terms of how much money you have to be able to use can be different than what you actually have available. It could be somebody who has just like deep pockets and they just go around buying properties and they're looking for strictly multifamilies and so forth. It could be other scenarios and how they're leveraging, getting in there. But high level, I mean, you want to look at key factors when you're looking for a deal now. It's going to be cash flow, right? The cash flow you're looking for, is there potential for opportunity there? I want to say, is there an exit strategy in the case that it doesn't work out, right? So you want to keep all those things in mind. I want to make sure I caution you guys though, that don't go deep searching for the cheap deal. Don't do that. Right. I need you to search for like the consistent deal, the deal that makes sense, right? The numbers and cents deal. Because it's too easy to be like, oh, but it's so cheap. And you think it's cheap because it's a fixer-upper, but it needs a lot of love. And if you run out of money in the middle of a project, you can find yourself selling it and losing money and not being in a good situation. So when I say there's still deals to be out there, you want to look for deals that have the cash flow, they want to have an exit strategy, and you want to have potential in it. So that was a really good question because there's still deals. All my investors are different. You might be on different pages. So if you have questions, investor questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm an investor myself. I have a little bit of each strategy in my portfolio. I have short-term, rental rentals, I have long-term rentals, I have buy and hold plays, and we still work on some fix and flips depending on the market and the bandwidth. So we do have some mobile homes in the portfolio. So my partner's pretty amazing. He's good at what he does. So we make all those things work. But yeah, so many different options, and you don't have to have it all in one basket. You can diversify your investment portfolio on things that are working. And if things aren't working, then you need to be able to pivot from that and not be afraid to pivot, right? You have to assess situations, and maybe at one time it was working, it was making lots of money for you. And then suddenly just things kept breaking, things are wrong, and you need to reassess how much money it's making for you now and consider sound. I think maybe I used too many hand gestures, so my little phone was asking me to do extra stuff. So ultimately you want to be able to assess your properties regularly, because I've had properties where it's just like, okay, well, it was making money when I first bought it, and now it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So what are my options? I got to raise my rent. I got to get a new tenant. I got to make sure I fill it, keep it, more occupied. So there are all things that come into play, but there are also deals to be had, right? And don't just chase cheap, chase quality and good deals for yourself. I love it. I love how time flies talking to you guys. It's so much fun. And thanks for locking in for those of you who are jumping on and giving my likes and asking my questions. These are all really, really good things. I probably got enough questions for a lifetime because Samara loves all things real estate. My last question. Oh, okay. So we had some commercial. I know we talked about commercial last week because there was a question regarding leases. There was a couple questions regarding, is there an opportunity for us for commercial? All right, well, that's good. I mean, that's kind of vague, but the short answer of that is there's always opportunity for you in commercial. And I know sometimes that it feels like the word commercial seems like a really big deal. Like, oh, I'm not ready for that yet. But guys, a 5-unit property is considered commercial. So keep that in mind if you're looking for investment on that side too. I mean, even just rental space that seems small, that's considered commercial, like for businesses, guys, businesses. So know your zoning, know what you're allowed to do there. And also if you're running a business, small business owner, just tip to yourself, if you're looking for a commercial space, make sure it's zoned for your use, because sometimes you can get fined if you're not adequately prepared for that. I know we talked about leases last time in terms of making sure you know your numbers, because leases can be super scary and kind of confusing. Same for uses, right? So if you're gonna go to an office setting and then have a dog grooming place, you can get tons of fines and be out your first, last, and security and have to figure it out and back into it. So make sure you're really mindful of that stuff. So hopefully the agent that you're pairing off with, if you don't know one, I know a girl, make sure they're talking you through use case scenarios and what type of lease that you're kind of signing up for that commercial space. So hopefully that answered your question. Yeah. Okay, good. And then I did introduce a small segment last week because I've been getting a lot of DMs from agents and soon to be wannabe agents just asking if now is a good time, and if they decide to be one, what should they do? So last week we covered, what the 75 hours, all that stuff, feel free to look at the notes because they're all in there. But today's question was kind of like, should I be an agent in today's market? Well, so today's market definitely has some opportunities for you and some deals, but the key information that I can give you is that if you decide to go down the path of being an agent now, make sure you're doing it as a job and not just as a hobby, right? Some people get into it for a hobby and sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want it to, but it doesn't mean it's not good for you, right? So there's also referral agent status, right? There's other things you do with the license if you have it and then can't use it anymore. So keep that in mind because you have those options. If you decide to get into it, like I mentioned, make sure it's for the right reasons. I will say this so I'm blue in the face. It's about the people, not the transactions. And if you're coming into it to help people and to make it a business, like a full-time job for yourself and put some effort into it, you can still see some success as an agent. So I know I answered quite a few segments of our questions. So thank you guys for locking in. We got to this beautiful golf setting. Thank you for all you guys who are checking us out right now. And I want you guys to keep in mind, I know that you guys are checking out and had comments around some of the Friday loves. We do those every Friday. I drop them at 12 o'clock. We're about 5 weeks in. We've had some really great interviews, so don't be afraid to check those out as well. For those of you who missed the first part of this, feel free to check it out. I always post them so you guys can take a look at them and share them. For my sellers, DM me if you need information on getting that seller's guide from me. I have that free available to you guys, plus the book to prepare. For my buyers, we do buyers consults. If you guys are ready, don't forget to DM me, send me a message. I got you. Investors, anything commercial related, I'm always here for your questions all the time. And for new agents, don't be afraid to ask questions. You want to be in a situation to where if you're vetting this, it's not cheap to be an agent, right? We have yearly fees and dues and all those carrying costs. So you want to make sure that you are eyes wide open and you kind of get a sense of what you're getting into. So I hope that answered tons of questions. I'm glad that you guys all locked in for another episode of Samara Keeps It Real Estate, where I try to give you as many nuggets, real estate related, of people that have asked me these beautiful questions answered, right? So, and then Tuesdays, I do my Truth Bomb Tuesdays for you guys. So check those out as well. Just kind of debunking myths that make zero sense, or sometimes confirming myths that we've heard. It's like, oh, it's true. Or we're like, no, that's not true information. So check those out on Tuesdays, and Fridays are our local loves. And during the week, we usually try to knock some things out regarding some of the volunteer activities that we have. You guys know I'm very involved in the community, so there's always something that you can do. If you're looking for something to do, reach out, because I could have used tons of volunteers today while I was over here at this golf outing. We're also doing collections. I partner with a couple other groups, the YMCA, HabCorp, where we're trying to help with the homeless population find stable, permanent housing. So that's something else that we're advocating for on a regular basis. And I'll be dropping a list of things that we need for some of those organizations. So guys, keep your eyes out for that. Once again, thank you for checking out Samara Live. Ask Samara anything, because Samara keeps real estate. And I love this stuff. So thank you guys for jumping in. I hope if you guys are golfers that you get out and enjoy this weather, because this was beautiful. And I hope that even if you don't, just drive the cart. Have some fun, but it's all good. So thank you guys for locking with me on Monday, and I will see you guys again next Monday at 7 p.m. Take care.